Hi guys, welcome to ADHD Management. Today's topic is about sleep control and how you can get better sleep if you have ADHD. It can be very hard to get to sleep at night if your mind is really active. And I know from experience, years of experience, that you have to have a really strict sort of daily regime to overcome this. It's absolute key. So if you want to overcome your sleep problems and you have like this racing mind at night, there are certain things that you can do to help you unwind and to at least simmer down your symptoms of hyperactivity. I'm not really the hyperactive type. I have ADD really, so more sort of inattentive. I do have some hyperactive symptoms like just the racing thoughts, and in the past when I was younger I would sort of interrupt people during talking. And a little bit fidgety, but I was never really the hyperactive type, so I'm lucky in that sense. But I still struggle with sleep, and even to this day I still find myself staying up late, and I have to sometimes stay up all night to reset my body clock altogether, and that's not healthy. You don't want to be doing that on a regular basis because it could really harm your health, and it can damage your immune system. So the whole point is to apply these methods so that you can avoid having all-nighters and losing out on sleep, because it can affect your life. It can affect your performance in work. It can affect your safety. You don't want to be driving when you're sleep deprived. So these things are very important to try and master and at least try and overcome. So I've got another round of scientific research reports from academic databases that can only be accessed by my university. So these are genuine articles. This one is called Sleep Problems in the Child with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, Defining Etiology and Appropriate Treatments. Abstract. An estimated 25 to 50% of children and adolescents with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder experience problems with sleep. The most common sleep problems reported in children with ADHD include delayed sleep onset, which is basically the ability to actually fall asleep in the first place. Sleep or bedtime resistance, which I was like when I was a kid because I hated going to bed. Prolonged tiredness upon waking and daytime sleepiness. Sound familiar? I still get that today. Higher incidences of sleep disorders such as restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement disorder, and sleep-disordered breathing can have been reported in pediatric ADHD populations compared with control populations. In some cases, medications for ADHD and for comorbid disorders may also contribute to sleep disturbances. Sleep problems may potentially exacerbate ADHD symptoms, and that's a big one. I definitely believe that's true, because if I lack on sleep the next day, my brain fog is just ridiculous, and I'm much more clumsy, and I zone out like way more. I mean, it can happen to normal people, but if you have ADD, ADHD, yeah, it's going to really aggravate your symptoms. Interventions targeted as ensuring adequate sleep, including behavioral, dietary, specific pharmacological agents for treatment-induced insomnia and melatonin, could in turn potentially attenuate symptoms associated with ADHD, such as irritability. Whether metabolic or neurological pathways common to both sleep and ADHD may be disrupted, and whether targeting treatments to these pathways may simultaneously improve both ADHD and sleep symptoms needs further elucidation. So, I mean, I've done a bunch of research on these databases, and most of the time scientists are actually struggling to really come to any solid conclusions about ADHD. They know very little, okay? We're still, in 2019, we still know very little about ADHD. Another point is your medication can actually cause you to have sleep problems. This is why I've said before, if you're taking stimulant drugs for ADHD, you're really better off taking it in the morning so that it has plenty of time to get out of your system. Because if it's still in your system at night, good luck with falling asleep. I know this from experience. And I have another article here that actually talks about this. It's called Impact of Adult Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder and Medication Status on Sleep-Wake Behavior and Molecular Circadian Rhythms. Circadian rhythms is basically your body clock. Abstract. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder is a common neuropsychiatric condition that has been strongly associated with changes in sleep and circadian rhythms. Stimulant and non-stimulant medication used in the management of ADHD has been shown to potentially impact on circadian processes and their behavioral outputs. Behavioral data indicate that patients with ADHD using ADHD medication have lower relative amplitudes of diurnal activity rhythms, slower sleep efficiency, more nocturnal activity, but not more nocturnal awakenings than both controls and ADHD participants without medication. So there you are. That says a lot about people with ADHD and their difficulty in falling asleep compared to others. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not qualified to give you real scientifically proven advice, but all I can do is give you that information, and you can do what you want with it. You can do your own research as well, but I want to give you some tips to help you sleep, because I think that these things can at least help you. These are things that I do, and they definitely do work. The problem with ADHD is that we are inherently disorganized, and we have a problem with self-discipline. So the number one thing that you need to do is set foundation of habits. You have to do this, right? You have to set some solid boundaries with yourself. You have to basically treat yourself like a child in a way. But yeah, this is the key. The first thing that you need to do is you need to set a bedtime and a waking time every day. You need to set your alarm on your phone, and you need to put that phone on the other side of your bedroom, okay? You want to put it on the other side of your bedroom so that you don't pick it up and look at it. This is now what I'm going to say about devices, blue light devices. You need to avoid blue light and electronic devices. You should not be on your laptop late at night, because it's going to interrupt your circadian rhythm, and there's lots of information about this online, and I think that it is definitely true, because the blue light spectrum is very much like daylight. So if you're going to be looking at your phone, looking at your laptop, watching the TV, it's all sort of blue light that's going to interrupt your brain activity. It's going to register it as daylight, and that is going to tell your brain, hang on, it's not nighttime, don't go to sleep yet. So it just perpetuates the problem. You need to avoid it. The second thing you can do is use dimmer light. Halogen bulbs are better, because they've got that warm orange light, and it's more relaxing. So energy saving bulbs will do this as well. They'll start off very dim and they get gradually brighter. I don't actually have a dimming light, but I'm considering getting one to have at my bedside table. So I mean, this kind of light is a lot better for your brain waves. Your brain's going to register it as something like similar to fire, which is obviously very, it's an evolutionary thing of fire being a sort of nighttime light, isn't it? So step number 3 is, instead of reading things online, looking at your phone, I would recommend do some light reading. And I know that reading for people with ADHD is hard, but the key is what you read. I wouldn't recommend reading a heavy book. You can read novels if you like. I recommend the text be quite large so that you don't have to strain your eye. You don't have to strain your eyes when you're reading. So I mean, that's a big part of it, because you don't want to be really focused on the book and stimulating your mind and straining your eyes, especially if you've got a dim light. So you want to have something with quite a little bit bigger text. So it's just easier on your mind. You don't have to strain yourself as much. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually reading manga books, which is basically comics, and I enjoy this because it's fun to read, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. It's just mostly illustrations, beautiful pictures, stuff like that. It's pretty fun to read, and there's not a lot of text, so that's the good thing about it, is that you don't have to really focus and take in a lot of information. And obviously, if you're going to read, get yourself a bookmark, because you need to be able to organize where you've left off. Bookmarks, I should have put that in my reading video, how to read with ADHD, but you know now. Next step is going to be take your time to unwind. Go to bed a bit earlier. You know, so you need to make going to bed a ritual. You need to make it like a nighttime thing where you don't just go to bed after being really busy. You need to actually spend a good hour in bed to unwind before you actually plan to sleep. That's the key thing. Is it needs to be like a session, an unwinding session. I've said it before, so chamomile tea, I really recommend that. Other, things like natural herbal teas, as long as there's no caffeine in it, that's what is going to help you. You need something to bring you down and lower your brain activity. Essential oils are a big part of it as well. Use things like lavender and eucalyptus, tea tree oil, things like that. Very relaxing. Also, you can get yourself a plug-in scent like Airwick, Ambipure, things like that. Thank you so much for watching my videos, guys. I really appreciate the feedback I've received so far. I'm glad I can help a lot of you out there. Maybe you could forward these videos to somebody that you think could benefit from it, because I want to try and help a lot of people. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and give the video a like if you found it helpful. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.